Hey there, it's Darcy. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm coming at you with another NYU sit-down video. And today I'm going to be talking about the journalism program because many of you know I'm a journalism student at NYU, so I've gotten some questions about the program and everything and a request to do this video, so I am doing it. And as you can see, I am in a little bit of a different background than normal. I'm currently at home in my bedroom at home, got my dogs with me. You can kind of see one of them right here. So if they bark, I apologize. Hopefully they won't. They're chilling right now, but so that's kind of what's up. I got some notes on my phone, so that way I make sure to cover everything because there's kind of a lot to cover just in terms of the program itself. So basically, I'm an undergraduate at NYU. If you don't know, I'm studying journalism and sociology as my second major, and I transferred here, so I can't speak to the whole four-year experience like most students would have, but I can speak to what the journalism program is like as an undergraduate. So I'm just gonna kind of jump right in. And the program itself, there are two different tracks. So there's just like a typical journalism track, and then there's a media criticism track, which I don't know very much about that, other than it's pretty similar to the regular journalism one with a few differences. You can look online. I'll put the link down below to what I'm looking at and just like the journalism website and that kind of thing. But so basically how it works is you need 8 courses for the journalism major, and you need 32 credits for those. So there are 5 required courses, I believe, and then you need at least 3 electives, and I've taken 2 of the required courses and 2 electives thus far. And so the first class is investigating journalism, which is a big lecture, and it's very different from the rest of them because it's more on the history of journalism and just kind of like talking about what journalism is. And that's the only class that's a big lecture. The rest of them are smaller. So the other classes I've taken have been anywhere from like 4 to like, I don't know, maybe like 15-ish people. They're all pretty small, and those are more heavily on reporting and writing and content, and so those are a lot more fun in my opinion. So once you get past like the first class, it gets better, which is good to know. After investigating is journalistic inquiry and multimedia. The beat, those are like some of the more hardcore like reporting, and like multimedia is like the obviously multimedia aspect of journalism, and the beat is like specifically what topic you would want to be covering as a journalist. So yeah, and then the last one is advanced reporting, which I'm nowhere near that yet, but that'll be my last core class. And the electives that I've taken so far, which you might know if you watch my vlogs, I've taken a women in media class, which was fascinating. It was much more like a gender studies class, which I personally love. And then I also took a fashion elective, which was more on the fashion industry and what that means for journalism today. So they're all really good classes, and also you should know that you do have to have a second major as a journalism student. Mine is sociology. I wanted that because I was already interested in sociology before I wanted journalism, so I wanted to continue that when I transferred so I could pursue journalism at NYU. And so I know some people don't like that, but personally I think it's a good idea because it gives you a more well-rounded skill set, because you not only have writing skills, you have knowledge to back that up. So I think my sociology really informs a lot of my writing. So in my opinion, it's really good that they have that structure in place, and the major isn't so big that you can't double major. It's very feasible. So I would say the biggest pro of NYU's journalism program is the connections that it has, because it is in New York, because there's a lot of really notable alumni, and the professors are all really experienced in the field. You get a lot of good connections to like people in the industry, and just like, for example, my reporting class this summer went to CNN, which I vlogged, so if you're interested, I'll put that down below as well to kind of give you a sense of what it's like to be able to go out into the field a little bit and to meet people in the industry who are doing things you might be interested in. It's really great, and you meet a lot of professionals in the industry to make connections. There's also a lot of alumni events and just things like that to meet people. So I found a lot of my professors to be really knowledgeable about the industry and to be really good resources to reach out to for career advice and for connections and that kind of thing. And then something else that I also found to be pretty helpful is using newspaper as an outlet to develop my writing. I was part of the Washington Square News for several months. I did it last semester and into the summer kind of. I decided to take a break right now, but for the most part I think that's a really great way to figure out what you want to write about, to develop your skills, to figure out how to work in a collaborative news environment, and to get more hands-on experience. I feel like most of my reporting skills I actually got from newspaper, not from the program itself, just because by the time I got to that point in the program I had already learned all of that by doing it in newspaper. So if you're really interested in more traditional journalism, I think newspaper is an amazing experience, and it's a great way to kind of dive in and get a lot of hands-on experience. You can get a lot of clips that way, and yeah, I definitely recommend that. You can get involved. I will have the link to their website down below. So more broadly, talking about journalism, you definitely need to be aware going into the industry that the industry is changing. Print journalism is dying. I think a lot of people would agree with that statement. It's just not what it used to be. A lot of magazines are downsizing or going out of print. Digital is just the way the platform is going, and you need to be aware of that. And if you're a young person watching this video interested, you're probably going to be okay with that, because that is the culture we've been raised in. I think is more access to digital, but a lot of the professors, a lot of people in the industry see that as a more negative aspect. So there's just some tension in the changes that are happening in the industry, but in my opinion, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just you kind of have to be able to change with that. So almost all of my work is online, and I don't think that's a bad thing, but you just kind of have to be aware that there is a lot changing. And so for what we're learning now, it might not necessarily be what the industry needs in 10 years either, but I do feel like the journalism program is going to prepare you well for the future, with classes like multimedia, which I haven't taken yet, but the fact that they have that class is really good. Even in my reporting class we had to do photography stuff, and just being able to use an online platform. We had to have our own blog, which I already did, so I just used that. So I do feel like they're preparing us for the changing field out there, and I just overall I'm pretty glad that I decided to transfer and to pursue journalism here. Me personally, I'm not sure I want to go just the traditional hard news reporter route, even though I think that's really valuable and I think I could do that, so I still might, but I'm more interested in more opinion and personal writing, I think. So nonetheless, the journalism program is great in developing skills, whether you're going into journalism or not. There's a lot of really strong writing skills and collaborating skills, editing, just knowing how to curate words and content for an audience. So I think there's a lot that the program has to offer, and I think in tandem with the second major it's a really smart decision. And it's also smart because by coming to NYU Journalism you're in New York, which is the heart of journalism. It's the heart of media in many ways, and so I think it's a really smart career choice because you have access to so many things. The journalism department is really big on pushing internships. They send so many emails out with internships all the time, and there's a lot of alumni who you can connect with and maybe get internships. So that's another great thing about being in New York. Besides just the program itself, there are so many opportunities beyond that because you're in New York. So I think just the fact that you're coming to New York for the program also amplifies the opportunities in itself, because there are so many opportunities in New York, so many internships, and I know a lot of students intern just a lot in general through their time at NYU in the program. So I am still working on getting internships, to be honest, so I can't really speak to the specifics of the internships, but there are just a lot out there. It is competitive, but being an NYU student will probably put you ahead just because the journalism department is pretty well known. So that's going to give you a leg up. Really quickly, just a couple other things, which is, as I mentioned, they send out all these emails with internships. So they have hired staff to work on career advising and academic advising and just things like that. So those are really awesome people that they have working for them. It's not just professors who are good resources for you through this program. There's also a lot of advising that can be really supportive. I've gotten help with my resume and cover letter and internship stuff, and there's just a lot that they have to offer. It's a really strong program, I would say, and if you know me, you know it can be really critical, so the fact that I don't have a lot of bad things to say is a good sign. I'm trying to think of more negative aspects. I guess just that it's hard to get hands-on experience in a classroom, which is why I really emphasize doing newspaper. But I think they do a good job for what it is. They do get you out writing a lot and at least in my experience, like they send you out to like cover things to a certain extent as much as it can. It's just hard because like in news it's kind of like whatever happens and that's what you have to cover, so you can't necessarily curate that in a class. But I do think they do a pretty good job, and yeah, I'm happy with my decision to transfer to this program, and I think it's going to be a really good decision for me career-wise and skill set wise. So I hope you enjoyed this video and got something out of it. I know it's pretty straightforward actually. I feel like this video might not be as long as I expected because there's really not that much to it. It's a pretty straightforward program, and if you have any questions, definitely leave a comment down below for anything I didn't talk about. I have a lot more videos on NYU more generally, so if you have more general NYU questions, definitely check those out before asking questions in the comments, because I've answered so many questions before. This one was just more specific to journalism, so if you are interested in journalism at NYU, I hope this helped you out, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all in my next video. Bye. Who are doing things you might be interested in. Shiloh. Shh, settle. Good girl. This is why I can't film at home.